It was Mother Teresa who said, I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to cause many ripples. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Youth Bully Show. My name is Fabian Collins, and this is the 22nd stone I will be casting upon the waters of the world. I hope the rippling effects reach you wherever you are watching me right now. Today, we begin our New Year countdown series, and we'll be talking about a host of things that we believe is going to better position you for 2021. For example, what we're talking about today, talking about resolutions, obstacles, and mistakes. Resolutions, obstacles, and mistakes. That's what we're treating today, and we believe it is something the youths need at this point in time to prepare them for the year ahead. So, quickly before we start, I'd like to mention two things, point out two things before we start, because it is probable that although you're watching me right now, you may just switch off or put off your data or go to do something else or go to watch something else. So I'm going to let you know who this particular episode is for, and then I'll go on to let you know the things we plan to talk about today, so that you know whether or not this episode is for you or whether you should just excuse us. So, first of all, this episode are for five sets of people. Those who don't want 2021 to be just like every other year. If you do not want 2021 to be like every other year that you've had, doesn't matter how long you've lived, you don't want 2021 the year after. That's the next. What you don't want the next year to be like every other year. This show is for you. And the second set of people, those who have been devastated by the events of this year but want to make 2021 their starting point. Those are the people this episode is for. Third set of people, those who are tired of the current level they are and want to make sure that by 2021 they become more or they start doing more. Fourth set of people are those who don't want to repeat the same mistakes they made this year. And then the last are those who know that time is not on their side and want to make the most of next year. No, time is not on your side, and you're experiencing urgency. Maybe you've had the dreams you have, the purpose you have is so intense, and then you know that time is not on your side. This particular episode is for you. So if you're here with me this evening, I'd like you to drop a comment and drop a comment, say one or two things. Let me know if you're here, and I'm going to recognize you. So if you're here this evening, just let me know you're here. Just say something. I'm so excited here this evening. I'm already pumped up. Everything put together is going to blow your mind. So the message is divided into three parts, right? It's divided into three parts. First, we're going to talk about what resolutions are and how and what inspires resolutions, basically. What resolutions are and what inspires them. Then second, we'll look at the obstacles most youth face while trying to live out their resolutions. And third, we'll consider the mistakes of most youths while they attempt to live their resolutions. The mistakes they make that do not allow them live on the high side 365 days a year. Apologies for the noise in the background. That will be sorted shortly. All right, so it is my earnest expectation that by the end of this episode, you would have spotted where you missed it, and also you would have found the inspiration, the strength needed to help you prepare for 2021 right now rather than the night before. Most of the times the mistake we make is that we prepare for 365 days in one night. We try to prepare for 365 days in one night. People do that a lot. In fact, the reality of the new year dawns on people most times when they hear people say, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year in advance. In fact, the reality of the New Year starts dawning on from the 25th of December, and then you see them 31st night, on the 31st day. That's when they start preparing for the new year. That's when they start trying to put their plans together. That's when they try to make everything right, so that by the time they enter into the new year, they're entering new and clean, in quotes. You don't prepare for 365 days in one day. It doesn't work like that. So those who will be taking on the race 2021, those who will be running as fast as possible, as fast and using the speed of lightning in the year 2021, are those who already have their kits ready right now, those who are prepared themselves, those who are ready to take on the race. You don't start preparing for war on the day of war. It doesn't work like that. So it is my earnest expectation that by the end of this episode, you would have found the strength and inspiration needed to start preparing for the year immediately. So we'll start right away. And midway through what we're talking about, I'm going to make some very, very important announcements. I'd like you to, you know, stay till that time, because every part of this episode is bang from the beginning to the end. From the beginning to the end. All right, so we start with resolutions. Resolutions, we say are firm decisions reached about certain aspects of our life we want better, maintained, or changed. There are firm decisions reached about certain aspects of our life we want either better, maintained, or changed. Resolutions didn't actually start today. It dates way back to 2335 BC, right? When Babylonians made promises to their gods that they would, at the start of each year, that they would pay their debts and also return things they borrowed. Romans also made promises to the god Janus at the start of each new year. Knights also made promises at the beginning of each new year, and they called it the peacock vow. Then peacock vow was one which was made to show commitment to living by the moral virtues of the nine worthies, of the nine heroes. These are ancient facts. You could read them up after the show. It was a commitment that was made to living by the moral virtues of the nine worthies. Now, who were the nine worthies? These were people who displayed moral virtues such as soldierly courage, selflessness, honesty, generalship, etc. And they include Alexander the Great, Hector, Julius Caesar, David, Joshua, Judah Maccabee, King Arthur, Charlemagne, and Godfrey of Bouillon, just if I got the pronunciation right in it. So if you want to know about nine people, nine words, or the nine good heroes, you can read about them or you can watch movies about them, and then just add to your repertoire of knowledge. So resolutions didn't begin today. That's the point. It did not begin today. So if you think that resolution just started the day you were born, no, or the day you started realizing that look, you need to give account of how you live every day. It didn't start then. Resolutions, I said, that are firm decisions reached on certain aspects of our life we want better, maintained, or changed. By their very nature, by the very nature of resolutions, they require that one reflects on one's life. They require that one reflects on one's life. And when you think about reflection, think about someone sitting on a mountain who has to walk down the valley to pick up stones or pick up things he's been trying to find. The further you walk, the deeper you go. That's how reflections are, right? And that's what resolutions require that we do. It requires that we reflect on our life. So the deeper you think about your life, the further you think about your life, the more things you discover about yourself. The resolutions require that you look at your life from a third person perspective, such that you can spot the very things that are making you achieve the level of results you're achieving, right? And it requires that you're very, very honest with yourself. So there are people who don't like being alone with their thoughts, and by that I mean they don't like anything that requires them to think too much or think too deeply about the things they're going through, because there's a very thin line between reflection and depression. There's a very thin line between reflection and depression. You can easily sink into depression when you're in the process of reflecting on your life, especially when you feel that you're not achieving as much results as you should. So people like being alone with their thoughts, but that not tell you, that shouldn't stop you, because if you do not reflect, you can't possibly learn from them. You can't possibly know your mistakes, and if you don't know your mistakes, you can't learn from them. And that is the exact point. That is the exact point most of us are, right? We keep making mistakes, almost mistakes that don't look the same to us, but are the same actually, right? So if you don't reflect, you don't have this habit of reflecting on your life, resolutions are going to be impossible, because resolutions require that you reflect on your life deeply. Now, how what inspires resolutions? That's like the second part of the of part A. What inspires resolutions? What inspires resolutions? First of all, the first point is circumstances of discomfort. Circumstances of discomfort. Now, as we this part, like what inspires resolutions, you can just write, so that by the time you're looking at why you should take up certain resolutions, you can look at these things I'll be listing out here. One of the reasons why people have this issue of consistency is because they don't have a strong reason as to why they should do certain things. I remember there's a particular year, I think it was 2018, I started 12 courses 12 courses, but I was only able to complete one. I was only able to get one course complete. That was the highest point of inconsistency I experienced in my life. And the following year, I started making consistency became like a big thing, a big deal for me. So instead of starting something, I rather not start, right, than start and then not complete it. So that, and I realized something lately while I was reflecting. I realized that the reason why I started those courses, the reason was actually wrong. I wanted to, do so many courses so that I'll be able to brag amongst friends that look, I'm doing this course, I'm doing this course. I've been able to complete 10 courses, I've been able to complete 7 courses. Oh, I have these certificates from this particular place and all that. I have this, my CV is rich and all that. So, but that is not strong enough a reason. That is not strong enough reason. And in fact, it is that kind of reason that makes people think paying for courses is a waste of time. Because if you want to show off to friends that look, you're getting this course, or you've gotten this course, you've gotten the certificate and all certifications and all that. When time comes for you to pay for a particular course, you think that no, I can't do this. I didn't sign up for this. So you're looking out for free courses and all that. So that was the mindset I had then, and that was like the major reason why I had these inconsistency issues then. Right? So as we discuss this today, I want you to look at them critically, because they could form your why. They could form the big why, as to the reason why you should pursue your resolutions. They could form the big why. So the first I said is circumstances of discomfort. Now, how is this an inspiration that births resolutions? When you're not satisfied with your life, when anybody's not satisfied with where he is, you're not satisfied with the results you're getting, you're not satisfied with the kind of you look at your age and you look at the kind of results you have, right? You look at your age, you look at your account balance, it doesn't go well and all that, and people are talking, and when you get into a social gathering and then you're engaging in a particular conversation, there's some things you basically cannot make an input in, not because you cannot talk about them, but because you do not have anything, like there is no proof, there is no there is no basis on which you can talk about these things, no results to show. So you're in that gathering, but you're not making any input, and that disturbs you a lot. So circumstances of discomfort can make people resolve to do something better about their life. So look at your life right now. Which area of your life are you really discontent, or feeling very feeling very discontented about? Which area of your life do you think should be worked on? Which area of your life do you think should be better or should be maintained so you get the kind of results you want? That is the first inspiration, the resolution. The second is amazing feats attained. Amazing feats attained. After the Great Depression, I don't know if you've heard of the Great Depression. Most of us must have heard of it. So may have heard of it. So after the Great Depression, about 40% of American adults resolved to live better lives. If you've heard about the Great Depression, it was devastating. It lasted, and people lacked. People died of hunger. Terrible things happened. So immediately after that, research has shown that about 40% of American adults resolved to live better lives, because this was like the end of the depression was like a feat attained. So if this could happen, I should just live a better life. So it is possible that the energy that you need the energy that you need to follow your resolution is the result you've already had in time past. So you've looked at this year, oh, okay, this is a particular area of my life that I've achieved results. That will fuel your passion to go on and do more. You could fuel your passion to result. Okay, so if I achieved like 20%, if I got 20% returns by just working on this particular idea, if I step up my game, I could get like 40 results. So you resolve that this is what you're going to do. These are the steps and the measures you're going to take. These are the steps and measures you're going to take. I see God's favor is in there. Welcome, welcome. Yes. So that being said, that's like the second inspiration for resolutions, and then the third is the desire to reciprocate love and affection. The desire to reciprocate love and affection. This can be an inspiration for resolutions. Now, how is that possible? You may have heard of stories of children, wayward children, basically, who did so many terrible things, but despite what they were doing, their parents kept showering them with love. Maybe their guardians, maybe relatives kept showing them love, and by the time these people that showed them love passed on, they realized that they have been really messing up, and so they decide that they are going to turn a new leaf, right? So they make resolves to do something better about their life, not because they really want to do it, but because they want to reciprocate the love they have been shown. So that can be an inspiration, behind the resolutions people have. If you're going to be having resolutions for next year, you can also look at this particular area. Who do you want to reciprocate love to? It could be to God, it could be to your parents, it could be to those who have shown support for you, who have supported your business, supported your idea, who have been there for you. You can resolve that. Look, you're going to give 120% in everything you do because you want to get results. And the results you want to be able to share the success story with all those who have been a part of your legacy, your parents, those who have been supporting you, from your teachers to your relatives to friends to guardians, people online and offline. Right? So the desire to reciprocate love could be an inspiration behind resolutions. And then the fourth is the desire to get the kind of results others are getting. This also could be an inspiration for resolutions. When we look at our life and it feels as though our friends are getting ahead of us or achieving more results, resolutions are always the next step. So we take firm decisions that would at least help us to get to where they are. So when you desire to get the kind of results others are getting, it could prompt you to take certain steps or decisions that will ultimately make your life better for the new year. So this is another reason you can add when you're looking at why you should make certain decisions about your life. You look at the life of your friends, and now this is where the problem is, because at times you look at the life of your friends and it's as if you're like the best person in the circle. It's not always safe to be in that kind of circle. It's not always safe to be in that kind of circle. It's not always safe. We'll talk about that shortly. The fifth is our dreams and purpose. This could be another inspiration for actions. When you consider your dreams for life, you make some resolution in order to see to it that they come to fulfillment. Our dreams and purpose. If you've had an epiphany, right, the first clue as to why you are alive, first clue as to what your purpose is for life, and then you look at the fact that you're not really getting there, like you're not getting close, or you're close but you're not close enough to getting it to fulfillment. This could prompt you to make certain resolutions for the year. Remember, we're talking about what inspires resolutions. The sixth is the urgency of time, and this is where this is a very, very important factor, the urgency of time. I've met a whole lot of youths who when they're talking about, let's talk about something most of us can relate with. So basically, you want to finish university by say age 23, go service and then come back and start businesses or get a job and stuff, and then by 28 or 29 they're already married and stuff. So when it feels like they're 26 and then these results are not coming the way they should, and it's as if time is catching up with them, or time is moving ahead of them, or time is like they're like behind schedule and everything. The urgency of time will make them take drastic decisions as to what they will do for the new year. So look at all these things I've listed. What is it exactly? Which of them exactly is the inspiration behind the resolutions you're making? That is if you made them. And the ones you'll be making, the resolutions you'll be making, you can also look at these points. Why exactly am I making the resolution? Because you need to know why. You need to know why. If you do not know why you're making that resolution, your consistency will be questioned 2 weeks or even 3 weeks after New Year. Because why? You do not know why the resolutions were set in the first place. Then the seventh inspiration behind resolutions is what we stand to lose if we remain the same. What we stand to lose if we remain the same. If we remain the same, if you not, because I read sometime in SS1, sometime in SS1. Well, welcome back. I'm so sorry about the break in transmission. Apologies, please. We're going to start right about now. I can see some of us are still in the house. Welcome, welcome. All right, so we'll get straight to it. We're talking about before light went out. We're talking about what inspires resolutions, and we mentioned the seventh point to be what we stand to lose if we remain the same. The fear of what we stand to lose if we remain the same can make us take certain firm decisions about our lives, what we stand to lose if we remain the same. So I've mentioned seven things. First of all, circumstances of discomfort, amazing feats attained, the desire to replicate love or desire to get the kind of results others are getting, our dreams, purpose, the urgency of time, and then what we stand to lose if we remain the same. All these can be inspirations behind the decisions or the resolutions we make for the new year. So when you're making your resolutions, I said you need to know why. Because if you do not know why, it is possible that your consistency will be questioned 2 or 3 weeks after. It is very, very possible. It's very, very possible. So you need to know why, because it is your why that will strengthen you when you're becoming tired. It's your why that will strengthen you when you're becoming tired. Now, part B of what we're talking about today is obstacles. Obstacles youths face while trying to live out their resolutions. The obstacles youths face while trying to live out their resolutions. Okay, so obstacles in this context actually refers to anything that drains youths of energy, anything that drains us of our anything us, feel like the resolutions we set at the beginning of the year, are too big or they're unrealistic and everything. Obstacles, they could be realities that place us in positions that make us feel we are helpless, right? And most of these obstacles I've experienced them. So I'm talking from a place of experience too, and also from what I've learned from other people. I've listened to a whole lot of elderly people talk about these things and also learned from other youth. So as I share them, there are about 12 of them. And the earlier you knew about these obstacles, the better it is for all of us, because when you know these issues ahead of time, it will be possible for you to jump over them when they show up. When they show up, obstacles, I said, are anything that will prevent you from going ahead to smash your goals or live out your resolutions. Anything that drains you of energy 2 or 3 weeks into the new year. And there are 12 of them. So the first is what we're going to talk about right now. The first is probably going to surprise you. Familial interference. Familial interference. How is this an obstacle? How is this an obstacle? Now, it is possible for your parents to be your firefighters, parents, relatives, people closest to you. It is possible that they can be your firefighters and they do not even know, right? So this kind of people judge your actions today by who you were yesterday. They refer to you based on who you were in the past, right? They keep treating you as if you were like the same person they knew 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So they keep looking down on you. No matter the ideas you bring, it just doesn't feel good enough because there are no results to show. And bring down your esteem. It is very, very possible. I don't know if you live in environments like that or you live around places like that. Now, the point is not to go ahead and start hating your parents or hating your relatives and all that. The point is that when you're able to know that what they say is able to make your confidence dwindle, what they say is able to diminish the energy with which you can use to pursue your resolutions. Once you know this, it will be possible for you to build a defense mechanism that will not allow you suffer through that. If you're somebody who spends time online, you spend time online a lot, and then you hear things like all this time you've been spending online, what have you been able to make from it? Or they say things like you're wasting time. So the more time you spend online, the more time you waste. If you heard something like that, you can just say so in the comment section. So they make you feel like everything you do is like a waste of time. So they say you need a real job. You need a real job. Instead of wasting time pressing your phone from morning to night, go out there and also go out there and do this, go out there and do that. So they don't even want to understand that you are building certain structures, the structures that will help you build influence, impact, and income. They don't want to understand that you're building structures online that will help you attain this fees. Probably not in the next 2 years, but in years to come, this will come. So they don't want to know that. They just want to see result right now. So it is possible that your parents can be your firefighters. Now, I said it's not that the point of this is not that you go on and hate them. The point of this is that you should recognize that what they say, if what they say is able to make your confidence dwindle, then you should build a defense mechanism that will not allow it to happen. Defense mechanism that will not allow it to happen. So it's possible that an obstacle to your resolutions for the year could even be your parents. Right? It could be the people closest to you. So they see you doing something, they'll be like, you go tired, you go tired, you tired or something. God help me with teaching. I have to start learning that stuff. I think I've started already. Learning pidgin. Looking forward to speaking very fluently by the time is 2021. Okay, so the second obstacle most youths face while in pursuit of their goals for the year is relationships or young love. Now, this is where we're going to talk about the most realistic of things. The relationship you are, right? The love you're having right now with that girl, that beautiful girl, that handsome guy could be an obstacle. Now, how is that an obstacle? Most youths behave insanely when they're in love, and I mean very insanely. So from spending so much money to raising their standards of living just to impress the other person, they go ahead and do so many things that they end up regretting, days after, right? Days after, things that they end up regretting. So you behave insanely when they're in love. So it's possible that this could be an obstacle because maybe from the beginning of the year, it's January, and then you just find this beautiful lady who you fall in love with, or this beautiful guy who you give your heart to, and then, or maybe you've been in a relationship for some time, and then you go ahead, and because of the attention you give this person, you forget totally that you have a life to build. There are youths like that. There are youths who forget that they have a life to build because they are in love. You should look at yourself right now and look at your relationship right now and ask, how has this helped me? How has this added to the person I want to be? How has this made this relationship made me better? How has this made me get closer to achieving my goals and purpose? You should ask yourself that right now. Because there are those, again, like I said, there are youths, again, like I said, who, because they're in love, forget totally that they have a life to build. And so they wake up one morning and they realize that they are 28, and the person whom they had fallen in love with has moved on. Because if you're a guy and then you're in love and then you are not working on yourself, you'll be shocked that by the time you've aged a particular point, ladies age quickly, and then like the average age most ladies married is 25. So by the time you're like getting to a particular age, and then she's 25, and then she's looking, and then you're not saying anything, no matter the love, except she really, really loves you, she could just move on and then meet some other guy who is ready. So do not, because of love, forget the resolutions you had at the beginning of the year. It is insane to allow that happen to you. It is insane to allow that happen to you. The second part of this particular obstacle is about broken hearts, right? We hear this every time, how people, because of being broken hearted, some even go as far as committing suicide. I heard of a guy who had been dating this lady for 9 years, and when the lady left him, he committed suicide. I don't know if you read of that story, but it happens every time. Research has actually shown that when we have negative emotions, like when we are having bad emotions, when we're in bad moods, when our hearts are not in the right place, we tend to see the negative side of things more than the positive side. What that means is the resolutions you made at the beginning of the year suddenly look too big, too unrealistic to you. The mountains that you had once determined that you were going to climb, suddenly look too big. Your dreams look too big, right? So, and that is because you are in a state of mind where your emotions are not in place. Broken hearts are, people who experience broken hearts take time to heal, and then during that process, when they're struggling here and there, trying to heal and all that, it's possible that they will forget their resolutions, the resolutions they started with at the beginning of the year. How do we prevent all these things from prevent broken hearts from happening? That's what we're talking about today. That is something we're talking about another time. But I'm just here to remind you this particular point is to let you know that it is possible that your relationship can be an obstacle to achieving your goals or reaching the heights you want to reach. You have to first of all ask yourself that relationship you are in as a youth, what value is it adding to you? Are you in that relationship and you're still able to think about your life? Are you in that relationship and you are still able to work on yourself? Like I said, there are people who, because they're in love, forget totally that they have a life. So they live to impress, they dress to impress, they speak to impress, they show up to impress. And by the time this other person ends up living their life, they do not have anything to fall back on. If the confidence you have is in your ability to woo ladies, sir, there's a problem. Because the day somebody tells you no, you will feel like your life has ended. You will feel like you do not have anything to offer the world. If your confidence stems from your ability to attract men, your ability to make men look at you 3 times or 4 times as a lady, the day you dress very well and nobody looks at you or nobody says anything to you, you may feel that you're losing yourself. So relationships again can be obstacles on the way preventing us from achieving our goals. You have to be very careful. The third is cost. The third obstacle most youths face while in their attempts to achieve their goals or resolutions is cost. Here, the funds necessary to bring goals to fruition is the costs are not available, right? Costs are just not available. So maybe you want to spend you need to spend money doing certain things, and then there is no funding for you to do this. That could be an obstacle. The fourth is pressure from immediate friends to catch fun. This is an obstacle. I'm going to talk about this a bit because it is something most of us can relate to. In fact, I saw it this evening. Listen, if the friends you have are always saying things like, relax, problem no dey finish, no go do pass yourself. If you have this kind of friends around you who say this every time, you would end up feeling very, very comfortable about the position you're in and about the position you are in, and then you wake up one morning realizing that you've piled up more problems than you should have had in the first place. The way I put it here is, if friends around you are always saying, relax, this life problem no dey finish, no go do pass yourself, you need to change those friends. If not, one morning you wake up and realize that everyone has moved past you. Everyone has moved past you, and your problems have even become more. If you're always hearing people say, I can't keep myself, the friends you have, like the 6 friends, there's a report that said we are like the average of 6 friends we have in our circle. If the 6 friends that are closest to you on WhatsApp, online or offline, are always saying, I can't keep myself, relax, problem no dey finish, you will end up being too relaxed and too comfortable with where you are that you won't even know when you're lazy. It is one thing to be lazy and then to know that you're lazy, and it's another thing to be lazy and to not even know that you are lazy. That is the kind of situation people who have this kind of friends are in. So they end up believing this thing. So the more you keep hearing this thing, the more this thing keeps entering your head. Relax, probably no dey finish, no go do pass yourself, relax. You won't even do anything. You will not even do anything. So instead of taking steps, taking risks, taking steps that will push you closer to achieving your dreams, you want to relax because problem no dey finish. So instead of saving the little funds you have to be able to purchase maybe that course you need to be able to upskill yourself, instead of saving so that you can get what you want to get, you take out the money and spend because problem no dey finish. I'm not arguing that what they are saying is wrong, but if you have 6 people saying that to you every time, sir, you need to change your friends. You need to change your friends. If your friends are not pushing you to go beyond your limits, you need to change them. If the friends you have are just people majorly looking up to you, sir, at a time you will run dry because you will no longer have anything to offer. If the friends that are in your circle, almost all of them are people looking up to you, not people you are looking up to, you need to change them. Because if they are not pushing you to the limits, if they're not pushing you beyond your limits, they will end up draining every single value you have. Every single value you have. So the friends you have, there are like three categories of them that should be there. Those who look up to you, those who are like in the same level with you, and those who, despite the fact that they are at the same age you are above you. So those who look up to you, those who are at the same level with you, and those who you look up to. You need to have these three sets of friends. People that, like, the first set of friends are those you should constantly draw closer to, because these guys are going to make you believe that, make you uncomfortable where you are, make you, sit on the air, if I can use that phrase. They're going to make you work and work and work. And then those who look up, those who look up to you are those you can always share your value with. Those you can spread what you know, the knowledge you have to, and then those who are the same level with you, you're working together, you're winning together, you're doing amazing things together. You need to have these three sets of friends. If you do not have these three sets of friends, you wake up one morning and realize that what you think you knew is stale, and what you think you had is gone. Remember what the Bible said: those who think you have, those who think. I'm trying to remember exactly the way Jesus said it now. Those who have more will be given, and then to those who do not have, even what they think they have will be taken away. Those who do not have, what they think they have will be taken away. So if your friends are always saying, relax, this is like problem not finish, you need to change them. You need to change them. I'm not saying delete them completely from your contact list. It could be a particular WhatsApp status that you keep seeing this message every time. So when you view this person's status, you see, relax, problem not finish. They try relax, problem not finish. That person that is telling you relax, problem not finish. If you want to check his life critically, he's uncomfortable where he is. He's not satisfied with where he is. He wants to do more, but he does not know where. Does not know how to go about it. So, in an attempt to escape from the reality that that particular situation brings, the reality that failure brings, the reality that average brings, they bring out that statement, they coin that statement, and then they put it up there, and then you are striving to be better with your life, you sit there and say, it's true, let me relax. So, right? Let me relax. So you look at that, you look at those your friends, and then you should actually take stock of these things. When you hear your friends say they're watching like 5 movies in a day, look at their results. What are they achieving? If they're achieving amazing results and they're watching 5 movies in a day, okay, you can do it too. But you would discover that those who say they are watching 5 movies in a day, spending time, doing certain things online, social media time, TV time, spending more time on TV, you realize that they do not have many results. So you cannot make decisions about your life based on the standard of friends who are not achieving results. You will end up regretting your existence. You cannot make decisions about your life based on the standards set by friends who are not achieving results. So they're telling you relax, but in themselves they are not achieving results. They're telling you that they are watching 5 movies in a day, they are doing this, they are going to places, they're going, going for parties and everything. But you look at their lives critically, and they don't have anything to prove. You look at their track record, and there is nothing to show. You should be watching out for these things. What I'm saying is the truth. What I'm saying is real stuff. You should consider it. You should consider it. So don't just make certain decisions or make certain resolutions, or just decide to abandon the ideas you had because certain people are posting certain things on WhatsApp, and then you look at them, they're not having results. John Obidi said something some time ago. He said, when you say something and somebody yells, deep, don't go on being excited. Look at the level of what the person knows. That hits me different ways. So you are in a particular group of people, and then you say something and everybody yells, deep, deep, deep. Don't go on being excited. Look at the level of what they know. Because if their knowledge range is at the same level with what you know, they won't just exclaim, they'll be like, ah, yeah, that's true. And then they move on, talking about something else. That's how the network is. That's how the network is supposed to be. That's how the fire is supposed to burn. So you're in a congregation of people, you're amongst a clique of friends that make you keep reading, make you keep studying, make you show up stronger and better every day. If you don't have this set of friends, you need to go out there and make friends. I've made more friends online this year than I've made in all these other years I've passed combined, because I've decided to take the first step. Take the first step. So I see somebody that is doing amazing. Instead of being intimidated in quotes, instead of allowing that girl to be like, ah, this person that is achieving results is probably younger than me, and then I allow that girl to be, no, I reach out. Look, this is my name is Fabian Collins. This is what I do. What do you do? Let me know about your interests and stuff. And then before you know, we start talking. And so from the level of value I have, from the level of value she has, he or she has, we're able to relate on a certain level. On a certain level. So you look at your contact list, you look at your list of friends, you're sure that there is somebody you can always call. Like there's a friend of ours that we have that we call him speed dial. It's somebody that when you're feeling very, very down and you call him, there will always be something he'll say that will make you fired up. You need to have those kind of friends. Now, the fifth obstacle most youths experience in their pursuit of their goals is social media or TV time. Social media or TV time. Unless you have a definite reason for being on social media, right? You should schedule the time you spend there. These things are very, very addictive. Take it from me. It is very, very, very addictive. Very, very addictive. So you wake up in the morning and then you say, okay, let me just check the messages I have on WhatsApp. You check messages on WhatsApp. Before you respond to everything, is like 45 minutes or 1 hour gone. You go to Facebook to check the picture you posted yesterday, how many people have commented. Before you respond to all the comments, and then you check other people's posts, 1 hour, 30 minutes gone. And then you go to another social media platform, Twitter. You want to check the latest trends, check what is going on, in the online space. After Twitter, you go to Instagram. Before you know, the entire morning is gone and your energy is drained. Because the more time you spend on social media without a definite reason, the more energy you lose. The more energy you lose, the more inspiration you lose to go on and work on yourself. And ultimately, you will feel that other people are doing better than you. That's always the end point. Because listen, let me say this. Let me pause and then say this. When you spend time on TV to an extent where you do not work on yourself, it is very likely that you will not appear on TV. The more time you spend on TV without building yourself, the less likely it is that you will appear on TV. The more time you spend on TV without building yourself, the less likely it is that you will appear on TV. So you spend time watching others who are doing amazing. I was watching Denzel Washington's award night. It was like he got the award for best actor of the century, right? And he's an amazing actor. When we were talking about him, they said there is really no difference the way he is in real life and the way he acts in his movies. That's somebody who has made it. If you want to hear his story, you can always go to YouTube and watch. Now, when you watch these people, in movies who are making waves, right? Probably writing scripts and then getting awards, every Grammy awards, being nominated for these awards and all that. And you do not work on yourself. It is likely that you won't appear on TV anytime soon. And one of the worst things that can happen to you as a person is to, get to a certain age, maybe 60 or 50, and then you sit down on your chair, and then your son or your daughter brings water for you to drink. And then the person that appears on TV, you look at the person and say, ah, Junior, that used to be my friend, though. I used to know this person like 20 years ago, and we used to talk a lot then. But now, he's a big man. We don't have time to talk, to talk again and all that. And Junior, your daughter will ask you, Daddy, when men were men, where were you? When men were men, where were you? That's like one of the most devastating questions you can hear as an elderly person, because it means that when people were working on themselves, you were catching fun, you were spending time on social media, you were spending time watching TV, increasing the number of movies you have. So you say, have you watched this one? Yeah, I've watched that one. Have you watched this one? Yeah, I've watched that one. Have you watched this one? Yeah. Is this one? Is the next season out? Yeah, the next. You keep up, keep up with the movies that are coming out, but you do not keep up with the standards that you've raised for yourself. You shouldn't be like that. Most of you have gone through hell. Most of the youths I'm talking to right now, if you're watching me right now, or you're going to be watching this video later, you can relate to what I'm saying. You've gone through hell. You come from families where that there's really nothing, no result to show. There's really nothing to show. So even eating 3 times a day is a struggle. And most of us do not even have people we can call parents. And then you keep making the mistakes everybody's making. You won't forgive yourself at the end of the day. You won't forgive yourself at the end of the day. The more time you spend on TV without building yourself, the less likely it is that you will appear on TV. The sixth obstacle most youths face, we're going to run now. There is still a whole lot we have to talk about. We're going to run now. The sixth obstacle most youths face while in the attempt to achieve their goals is personal habits or addictions. Personal habits or addictions. Personal habits or addictions. Personal habits such as procrastination. I read somewhere one of the deadliest quotes I read one time was something that had to do with procrastination. He said, "Any man who waits for 12 o'clock dies by 11:30." That scared hell out of me the first day I read it. Any man who waits for 12 o'clock dies by 11:30. That just depicts procrastination. If you want to wait for the right time to do certain things, the right day, the right tomorrow to act on your dreams, the right tomorrow to start reading, the right tomorrow to start studying, the right tomorrow to start learning that particular skill, the right tomorrow to work on yourself, the right tomorrow to take deep look at that skill that will fetch you money, it will never come. Procrastination, they say, is a thief of time. It will satisfy you, it will give you the euphoria of temporal satisfaction, right? But it will be stealing the time you're supposed to spend working on how your life is supposed to ultimately be. The next is drugs. Now, drug addiction, addiction to pornography, masturbation, which diminishes self-esteem, games, sport betting, and gambling. All of these put together have the ability to prevent you from going ahead and achieving your goals. The seventh one is unforeseeable circumstances. That one can't really help. It's like what happened this year, the COVID-19 pandemic. For those of us who school here in Nigeria, the strike, as we launched, has actually become like an obstacle for most of us. So we can't go forth and then learn the things we're supposed to learn in school, then just get on with it. But because ASU is on strike and then the pandemic is still on. For those of us in other parts of the world who are still on lockdown because of COVID-19, I really sympathize with you. I'm really sorry about what's going on. This will take a little more time, right? But everything will be fine ultimately. These also could be obstacles that prevent us from achieving our goals, but especially if your goals require that you go out there and meet new people, you go out there and do things, or maybe your goal has to do with a particular business, is in line with a particular business you've been working on. Now, the eighth one is laziness. Laziness is an obstacle. I said something earlier this evening. It is one thing to be lazy and then to know that you're lazy, and it's one thing to be lazy and to not know at all that you're lazy. It's a very, very dangerous place to be in. So laziness then means that you do not even have the courage to reflect on your life, right? You do not have the courage to reflect on your life because you are afraid that what you might find out will scare you. What you might find out will make you sink into depression. That is mental laziness. It's mental laziness, right? So you do not even want to think about your life or anything that makes you basically stress yourself in thinking, anything that makes you think too much it's not for you. It's not for you. That's mental laziness. And in the era we are, it is mental capacity that is fetching millions. Mental prowess, that's what's fetching millions. It's not physical labor. It's not those who are engaging in physical labor who are making millions. It is those who have strength to think. It is those who have the ability to think and think and think and bring out solutions when there were no seeming solutions. So there was a time I walked past a particular Detroit is actually in Rio, and I saw some of their workers, and something just came to my mind. It appeared that they were doing most of the work in the cleaning and everything, and in their minds they were like, see all the work I'm doing, the stress I'm going through, doing this and doing that, and then I'm just being paid 30,000, that kind of thing. It was just a thought, I'm just being paid 30,000, I'm just being paid 25,000 and all that. But does that mean that manager is just sitting in his office and he's not doing anything and they're just paying him 2 million, 5 million and all that? They're paying him more than you because he thinks more than you, right? So mental laziness is a limitation. It is something that can prevent you from going on and achieving your goals, and it is something you should work on as 2021 begins. It is something you should be on the lookout for as 2021 begins, because the year will be going more to those who have the ability to sit down and think out solutions, think out things they can do to make money, think out things they can do to make money. The next is fear of failing. Fear of failing. This could also be an obstacle, especially if the goals you have, the resolutions you have are very, very daring. The fear of failing could be an obstacle preventing you from, actualizing them. The next is jobs that are not in line with your dream. This could be an obstacle, as sweet as the salary could be that you get from it. But if the job is not in line with what you're supposed to do, or what you're supposed to ultimately become, then it is an obstacle. I talked about this like last month, I think. Yeah, last month when we spoke here on the show about capability traps. Capability traps. You're working, basically, you're hustling, right? Doing a whole lot of things, and it's fetching you money, but it's not adding to you any skill, any value that you will need in the future. That is an obstacle, and you need to do away with it. The next is personal insecurities. Personal insecurities. And the next one, the last one, the 12th one is lack of skill or enterprise. This could be an obstacle. I would have loved to talk about these two, but we need to run right now. We need to run right now. I mean, okay, so we have this part. Mistakes most youths make. Mistakes most youths make that do not allow them live 365 days on the high side of life. So 2021 is coming, and in 2021 we have 365 days. Now, there are certain mistakes most youths make that do not allow them live this 365 days on the high side of life, or not allow them achieve the results they would really want to achieve. I wrote about 8 of them here. 8 of these mistakes. We may not be able to take all of them today because of time. So I'll just take the first 3. I'll take the first 3, and then hopefully we can conclude this in the next episode. Okay, so the first one is setting goals and action plans based on sense knowledge. This is a mistake most youths make that do not allow them achieve the results that they had set out to achieve. Setting goals based on sense knowledge, right? So the problem is not in the setting of goals, but in the system and the structure they have set to follow these goals, right? To follow through these plans. There are a whole lot of resources out there on how to set goals and follow through with them. Books, seminars, courses, life teachings, and all that. You need to know how to go about it. You need to know how to go about it. So don't just rely on what you know. Don't just pick a paper and then start writing out resolutions and goals and say, okay, I've written it, and then you paste it on the wall. And then you wake up every morning and then look at it, okay, that's really inspire me to go on and achieve my goals. No, it doesn't work. It may work the first 2 weeks, but there is no guarantee that is going to work all through the year. You need to know the systems. You need to learn the systems. You need to learn how people who are proficient in achieving goals. You need to learn how they did it. You need to learn how they did it.
You need to learn how to do it, especially if the goals you set are very, very daring ones. The second is not paying attention to the real reasons or the root reason why they are not doing well. People are very, very rash when attributing blame to things. They're very, very rash. So they can just quickly say the reason why I'm not, succeeding is because of them. Because um, uh, I did not grow up getting love from my parents, or the reason why I'm not getting as much results is because I don't have data to follow up, with the promotions, or the reason I'm not, getting as much results is because I don't get to find opportunities when they come. The reason I'm not getting results is because I don't have the kind of friends you have. The reason I'm not getting results is because I don't have the money to pay for the kind of courses you're paying for and all that. People are very, very rash when attributing blames to things. The blame could be on humans or animals, inanimate objects, or abstract realities. But now, they will not spend time really thinking. Remember, I said from the beginning that resolutions require deep-seated thinking. They require that you reflect on your life. So you're sitting on a mountain, right? So you go down, the further you go, the deeper you look, the further you go, the deeper you look. So you go down, 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 down to you to spot the real reason why you are not succeeding. It is impossible to find a solution if you do not have if you've not spotted the problem. In fact, the solution could even present itself and you do not recognize it because you do not know what the problem is. Because you do not know what the problem is. Why exactly are you not meeting your targets? Over the past years, in this year 2020, the goals you set from the beginning of the year, why exactly did you not meet them? At what point did you start living away from your resolutions? If you made resolutions at the beginning of 2020, don't ignore those ones you made at the beginning of this year. Ask yourself, at what point, from which month, did you begin living away from those resolutions? Because you need to know that. Then, from knowing that, you'll be able to spot what the problem was and what happened that made you totally ignore your resolutions or your goals. The third one we're going to look at for today before we round up is um, allowing friends who are at the same level with you to be the dictators of what happens with your time. Allowing friends who are at the same level with you to be the dictators of what happens with I'm so sorry about the network glitches again. I'm really, really sorry. I rounded up by this time. Okay, so the last point that I just made mention of was the fact that allowing friends um, who are the same level with you become dictators of what happens with your time is a mistake most youths make. There are like 8 points I wrote, but I can't talk about them now because we have to run. Usually the show will last for an hour. So I'll just make quick announcements before we go this evening. Next week we're going to be taking our last relationship series for the year. It's going to be mind blowing. It's going to be mind blowing, and the topic is 7 impossible questions and girlfriends dread. 7 impossible questions boyfriends and girlfriends in relationships dread. Right? We're going to be taking that. When I first introduced them to our guests, they were like, this is insane. The whole topic and everything. These are questions that most people in dating relationships run away from. So we're going to talk about these questions and we're going to answer them here on the show. You shouldn't miss it because it's going to be the last episode of for our relationship series. Then the Wednesday after, 16th of December, that's going to be our last episode for the year. We're going to be taking we're going to be hosting like 3 people, right? And we're going to be having like a 2-hour session on that particular day because we have needing them to talk about a whole lot of things. First of all, since this year is coming, I talked about setting and smashing goals, and I talked about the fact that you should not just do them based on what you know, right? Okay, I'm saying blessing in the house. Blessing says, it's a traffic. Welcome. Sorry about that. Okay, so shout out to Blessing. I see you. Shout out to God's favor is day too. All right, so um by so by I talked about the fact that you should not just set goals based on what you know. There are systems and there are structures you should follow. By the time you start out the day, you're able to follow through the plan consistently. So we have somebody come teach us how to set and smash our goals on the last episode. Somebody teach us that also somebody to talk to us about personal branding and also how to brand our business and all that. And also to be somebody to talk to us about how to earn from social media. We know that most youths right now are on social media. In fact, the internet is where people is. I mean, the internet is where people are. Apologies for that. So the internet is where people are. So if you want to make money online, right? So you need to know how to do it from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter, even to WhatsApp and all that. And somebody will become to teach us. So those are the 3 things to look at on the last Wednesday for the year. It has been an absolute pleasure doing this with you. I think this is the last episode will be at 24th episode for the year. Amazing stuff. We started 3rd June and look where we are. Shout out to Abiding TV. Shout out to Ms. Ariola Yinka. It's been amazing. The support he's shown, the support Abiding TV has shown is quite incredible for all of us, all of those part of our audience who have been watching us consistently, who have been following us, have been asking questions when you don't see us stream live. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you learned something. We talked about resolutions, obstacles, and mistakes. We talked about the fact that the earlier you spotted these things, the more likely it would be for us to overcome the obstacles when they eventually come. It is my sincere, earnest expectation too that by the time 2021 comes, it will be a prosperous year for all of us. Nobody will be left behind. Nobody will be left behind. Nobody will be left behind. We are here for you. The useful is here for you. And when we started, we said we're going to be talking about the most practical of things, the realest of things. We've not started yet. We're getting better and better. And there are going to be times we're talking about things most pastors don't talk about on the pulpit, to talk about them here, to be able to get your feedback. So don't be afraid to invite your friends, right? So until I come your way next week, we'll be having a relationship series. My name is Fabian Collins, and it's always an amazing time doing this with you. I think American TV has something to show us and an announcement to show us. Okay. Okay. So you just a short clip that will last few seconds, and then by the time that is done, it will just close and we'll go. So give us a sec as that comes up shortly. Also seconds that comes up shortly. It's something about
Jesus told us to remember and give to the needy in our societies. It is the period of time again when Abiding TV Initiatives reaches out to the aged that are indigent and give them food items for the celebration of Christmas and New Year. This initiative is tagged Operation Feed the Widows and Widowers, Edition 2. In the first edition, we were able to reach out to almost 300 widows and widowers above the age of 60. And now we're trusting God to surpass that record in the month of December this year, 2020. In the light of this, we are seeking for voluntary donation to help us put smiles on the faces of these aged widows and widowers. May the Lord bless you in great proportions in the name of Jesus as you help us to be a blessing to these people. God bless you.
Thank you very much for sticking with us today. I can still see some people in the building. So until we come your way next time, it has been an absolute pleasure doing this with you. Thank you very much. Bye.